So welcome to another edition of Drotalks, audiobooks. Dro here. Today with me is none other than Danny Bates. I've mentioned him. You've heard me talk about him. He recommends a lot of books, and so far I've never been disappointed. So here he is in the flesh. We're doing a collaboration. I'm going to ask him some questions. He's going to give his best answers to these questions. I'm going to go ahead and show that video here on my channel. And then go to his channel to see my answers for his questions. So, without further ado, Danny, thank you so much again for taking this time to do this collaboration with me. I really do appreciate it. I am truly a big fan.
Thank you. I'm a big fan of yours, and I'm excited about this. I mean, we've been exchanging emails and going back and forth trying to coordinate it. Life keeps getting in the way, so finally we're here. We're getting it done.
We got it.
It's exciting. It is most definitely exciting. I'm happy to do this.
Awesome. So I don't know if you want to give a quick introduction to what your channel is about, and then we'll start with the questions.
I'm Danny. My channel is Drotalks Audiobooks. I was a truck driver. I am now doing dispatch. I've been promoted to a dispatch position with my company, but I drove truck for about 13 years before I got into the dispatch portion of it. And I talk specifically about audiobooks, and I think Pedro, you're going to ask me some questions, so I'll save that for answers for the questions. Every great once in a while, I'll throw a non-audio book in, but 99.9% of it is audiobooks. And I talk about what I like about the book, what I don't like about the book. I do try very hard to focus on the positives of the book, because even if it's a book that I'm not a big fan of, there's going to be people out there that are going to like it. So if I can steer people towards, hey, if this is the kind of book you like, then you'll probably be one of the people who likes it. I don't know, I like the positive aspect of it. I try to bring up whether I hear anything that parents would want to be aware of, because quite honestly, audiobooks are a big part of not just my life, but my kids' lives. All three of my boys and nephews, all of us together have this connection, and so it makes that stuff important.
Mm-hmm. That is awesome. And actually, when I first started my YouTube channel, I was giving ratings because that was kind of the thing to do. And it's funny you mentioned that, because I actually stopped giving ratings because I would get feedback in books that I really didn't like. People would be like, "I love that book. How could you not like it?" And then I would listen to books that people would recommend that they just said was the best book ever, and I didn't really like it. And I came to a similar conclusion where it's better just to kind of talk about the book and let the people decide for themselves.
So what kind of did it for me was I did a book review, the Spellmonger series. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's got a huge following, but I did not like the books. I mean, I really did not like the books. I couldn't finish the books. I didn't like them that much. And I did a video where I just tore apart. All I did was trash it, talk bad, everything I hated. Well, Terry Mancour, who is the author, actually got on there, and he took umbrage with some of the stuff that I said. He did it in a very professional way. He did not do it in a way that was offensive, but he got on there and wanted to have a discussion about, hey, you brought up this point, this is why I disagree, this is what I was trying to do. And I had this long thread going with him where he was defending his work. And he had a lot of people that jumped on there defending his work, really loved the book series, and didn't like, my views on it. What it kind of made me realize was someone could watch my video and decide, hey, I'm not going to listen to this book because Danny hates it, when it would be a book that they would love, because the series has a huge following. It would be better for me to just focus on something that promotes books in general, something that gets people listening to audiobooks. My goal is not to turn people off from any book, but to turn people on to books, and especially audiobooks specifically. So to do that, I kind of needed to revamp my approach. I was disappointed. I was new to YouTube, and I took the video down and didn't realize that in doing so I would lose the entire thread with the author. I wanted to have that thread up there so people could see our discussion, because it was actually a really, really good discussion. But that's kind of what did it for me and got me changing my focus on how I do these. so that I'm promoting rather than tearing down someone's work.
Awesome. Yeah, and there's so much negativity in the world, and I think one thing that can be said about any good story is, I mean, there are good elements to all stories, even ones that may be a little bit less to one's taking. They're still, especially if you can finish it, there's definitely a reason that you finished it. So,
well, and we're all different. We have different tastes. We have different likes. Things that appeal to me might not appeal to you, and vice versa, depending upon where we are in life, just our experience, what we do and don't like. And why should I spit on someone's hard work and really bash someone else? I've tried. Have you ever tried to write a story?
Oh, I have.
That's hard work.
Sure. Yes,
it is.
I
grew up loving books, so I always thought that would just be like the most cool job in the world to be an author. I got this image of myself sitting at the desk with a pipe and a cup of coffee and a typewriter, the whole NCIS. Who's the guy that's the author on NCIS? He's got a special pipe and everything.
I can't remember, but...
Yeah, but then I tried it. It's work. And someone who can write a good enough story that they can get a following, and then I come along who can't write a story to save my life, what right do I have to trash his work?
Yeah. No, I agree. I came to, like I said, a similar conclusion, not with an author, but with a fan that really defended a book. And it was there, I came to the exact same conclusion. I was like, who am I to say that a story that this individual enjoyed is bad? So I shied away from ratings and just talking about it. So with that said, let's jump into the questions.
Okay.
So the first question I have is, what made you decide to make videos on YouTube, and why audiobooks?
Why audiobooks? Because at the time when I decided to make videos on YouTube, I was a truck driver, and my wife was a stay-at-home mom. We were raising 3 kids. I was literally, as a truck driver, you work 70 hours a week, and you get 34 hours off, and you go back for another 70. And I was burning through the books. Now, back then, I didn't have an Audible subscription. I was getting my audiobooks in the library. You can go, for those of you who can't afford an Audible subscription, go to your local library. They have all kinds of books on tape, on CD, and on USB sticks. What do they call little USB port sticks that you can check out and listen to? And that's what I was doing back then. And there was a couple other drivers. We kind of joked that we had our little tea clutch, coffee book club going, because when we'd see each other in the yard, we'd talk books. And I don't know, I just one day thought, hey, I should try this out and see if I can make this work on YouTube. See if I can, get any kind of an audience whatsoever. And rather than worrying about, hey, I'm just going to do it perfectly and do everything, I just recorded a video and put it through there. And if you watch my first couple of videos, not that mine now are great, but my first couple of videos are like really bad. I did the whole hold the phone like this. So then you got the flip screen thing. My father-in-law was the one who was like, that's really annoying. I hate that. I got a lot of advice from a lot of different people right away on how to make my videos better. There's some people that I subscribe to on YouTube. And I really did it just kind of on a whim, just kind of on a, hey, I didn't watch. I saw some channels on books, and they all seemed to be channels that were being put out by bookstores, and they were recommending, their book of the week or whatever. And I wanted to try something different. So I kind of did it on a whim. I figured I was going through anywhere from 3 to 5 books a week back then, so I could easily put out a couple of videos a week.
Awesome. Oh, that's cool. That's I had been looking for your channel before I even started my channel. But it took a while to find your channel. But and that's why
I don't have that big of an audience.
That's why we're promoting, because this man needs to be heard.
Right.
So We're both veterans. So I wanted to ask. You were in the Marines. I was in the Navy.
Uh-huh.
We're basically closely related, even though there are differences. But so I want to ask, how was your
Spent
time
2
in the
years on
Marines?
board ship, my friend.
That's
I
right.
loved it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, I was. I did security, and we were trained by Marines, and
There you go.
I learned. I learned a few differences between the way we work out very early
Uh-huh.
on. So how was the Marines, and how many years did you serve?
I did 4 years, 87 to 91. I got out. I was in Desert Storm. Got back from Desert Storm and went straight on to terminal leave. You know what terminal leave is?
Yes.
Anyone who's not military won't know what terminal leave is. Look it up. I'm not going to explain it.
Look it up.
That's right, look it up. I went straight on terminal leave after Desert Storm. I was engaged to be married. And like I said, I did 2 med floats. And I loved that. You spend 6 months on board a ship, touring the Mediterranean, Spain, Italy, France, Portugal, Tunisia. I mean, the places I got to go see. And honestly, I don't know about you, but I loved being on board ship. When you get out in the ocean, in the middle of the night, just the water and the stars and everything, there's nowhere that matches that at all. And I love that. But I saw a lot of Marines who, the day after we left on float, their wife had a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't get to see that kid again until the kid was 6 months old. And it was really hard on families. I was engaged. I didn't want to put my fiance, now my wife, through that. And so I did my 4 years and I got out.
Interesting. And I agree with you 100% on all aspects. The family. I didn't retire. I did 6 years and I got out for very similar reasons. But the stars and the darkness, that I was not prepared for my first time out to sea at night, and just
beautiful.
Oh,
it's just so I was on. So I was on the Iwo Jima, which is I think it's an LPH. It's either one was an LPH, one was an LHA. It's been so long ago I can't keep them straight. I was on the Iwo Jima and the Nassau. The Iwo Jima was actually the ship that picked up the very first astronauts to land on the moon. And about 6 months after I got off of that ship, when I run into people, they all say, "Oh, you weren't on the original Iwo Jima." I was on the original Iwo Jima. It had its boiler room blow up about 6 months after I got out of the ship. It was decommissioned, and now there's a new Iwo Jima. But I was on the original Iwo Jima that actually picked up the first astronaut. There was this huge mural of it in the mess area. I mean, it was cool. And you can go up at night onto the flight deck because they're slightly smaller than aircraft carriers. They have a flight deck that'll land like a Harrier or a helicopter, and you go up on that flight deck at night, and it is just incredible. I mean, I love that. And of course, getting to travel. And now I have a son who's in the Marine Corps, and he just deployed 3 days ago. He's going to Japan and Australia and possibly the Philippines.
Oh,
not sure on that one.
He hit the lucky 3. Those are good places.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. That's awesome.
I think I'm happier with my European, tour, but still, he's getting to travel and see things.
Hey, much better than staying home, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't miss him. It's different nowadays. I mean, when were you in?
I joined in 2000, and I got out in 2006.
So did they have cell phones back then?
Barely. They were becoming a thing. It was like when you would have to buy a card to use your cell phone.
Remember those days?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, buy a card, stand in line for hours.
Yes.
Pay phone, and then when you got there, you weren't going to get off until your card was completely used up because you'd waited so stinking long to talk. And now we Snapchat, we FaceTime. I mean, instant. It's completely different now than it was back then.
Yeah, it is amazing how we are so connected now. It's a great blessing because I do have kids at a distance. I just picked them up on my vlog, and if you guys saw that.
I saw that.
Yeah, shameless self-promoting. But yeah, the distance, it becomes a lot less just because we're able to FaceTime and all that good stuff. So let's see. So, did you read a lot while you were in the service?
I did not. I was the opposite of you. I know what your answer to this question is. I was the opposite of you. I did not. I listened to a lot of music, but no. I had one book with me at Desert Storm. I still have the book. Where is it? Lost Horizon, right here.
Wow.
And that my doesn't say who gave it to me. I think Sonia, my now wife, gave it to me before I went over there. I'm not sure. But really, that's pretty much the only book that I read while I was in the service. I read it several times in Desert Storm, but yeah, when you're on board ship, you've got whatever you can pack in your sea bag, and that's about it. And now I knew guys that brought books, but no, I read a ton growing up. Our house was right next to the library. The only time in my life that I can remember books not being a major part of my life is when I was in the Marine Corps.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah, those were before the Kindle days, right?
Those were most definitely before the Kindle days, yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And before the audiobook days as well.
Yeah, that's true. Because it's funny as you said, I used to get my audiobooks at the library too. Because at the time, it was like $50 an audiobook. Like you go to a Barnes & Noble or any place. And Hastings, I'm not even sure if there's Hastings around anymore. But I used to buy the used books there. And then trade them back in. And get another used audiobook.
Truck stop, and they'd be $30 to $50.
Yes.
And I'd laugh at the guys that were buying them. Like, dude, get a library card. But, you know, I was a local truck driver. So, I have to be careful about mentioning my company. They're okay with me doing the videos as long as I kind of leave them out of it. But we haul raw milk. We haul double tankers. So I drive out to the dairy farms, load the raw milk, and then deliver it to the receiver. So I was home enough that I could use a library. Your truckers that are over the road,
long distance,
they're home 1-2 days out of a month. Good luck getting a library card with a life like that. You know? So
that is true.
Yeah.
So then I guess the next question I had, what did you do? So besides trucking, what other activities do you do while you listen to audiobooks?
Work out. That one's either or. Sometimes I listen to an audiobook while I'm working out. Sometimes I listen to music. Ride my bike. My wife and I, we do a lot of riding together, so I don't listen to anything when I'm riding my bike with her. But when I'm riding by myself, anytime I'm doing yard work or anything like that, and now that I've got the new job and I'm no longer working all the hours that I used to work, I've been able to pick up a hobby. And I used to love wood burning, so I'm getting back into wood burning. And when I'm doing my wood burning, I like to listen to an audiobook while I'm doing my wood burning.
Nice. Yeah. I got pretty much the exact same answer. I used to hate washing dishes, and now I like volunteer.
Well, I'm in the shower, too. I have a waterproof speaker, so when I'm in the shower, too. Yeah.
Oh, great.
No more music now, it's audiobooks.
Absolutely. So then I guess the last two are the ones that we have to ask. The questions that everyone wants to know. Who is your favorite author and why? And who is your favorite narrator and why?
See, that's so hard. Depending upon when I was younger, my favorite author would have been Lloyd Alexander. The Chronicles of Prydain. I loved that series. Read it so many stinking times. Second favorite actually was the Hardy Boys Nancy Drew books. Loved those books as well. Then Harry Potter came out and fell in love with Harry Potter. I mean, I still, come fall, for me it's a seasonal listen. Every fall, I have to go through the Harry Potter series. I have to listen to that series. I can't stand the movies. I hate the movies, but the movies leave so much out. And I mean, they tried, but they just leave so much out that I can't watch the Harry Potter movies. But I love the books. Now, probably my favorite author. See, this is what sucks about getting old. Your memory. I've reviewed every one of the books he's come out with so far. What is his name? Kelkate. Kelkate is my favorite author now. I love his series. You can look back. I've done reviews of every single book in that series. I think he has created the most unique character I have ever found in a book. I mean, far and above the most complex and unique character I've ever found. Me and my sons, my wife. Okay, so
wow.
My wife is one of these gals that like has the phone attached permanently to her ear. She gets off work and she calls and she wants to talk the entire drive home. I hate the phone, so I'm like, honey, can't we talk when you get home? Just get off the phone, leave me alone. Got her on the Kelkate series, and all of a sudden I don't hear from her at all.
Getting worried.
And if I mistakenly, I'm like, isn't Sonia supposed to be off work? Hey, honey, everything? Yeah, I'm fine. Honey, I'm listening to my book. I gotta go now.
Wow.
And we'll have these discussions about the book. My sister Annetta, my nephew Caleb hated books growing up. And Kelkate in that book was the first one I introduced him to. And I remember the shock on my sister's face at the 3-hour mark of me and Caleb sitting there discussing Reskin and this book series.
Wow.
So that is definitely my favorite now. Narrators? I don't know that I have a favorite narrator. It really depends a lot upon the book and upon the genre, because there are certain authors that just fit certain style of books and don't fit others. And for that style of book, I'm trying to think for like the hard-bitten detective kind of book. Oh, if I can think of the narrator's name, you know who it is, but it's slipping my mind right now. I'm getting old. And I use my phone for the video, so I can't look it up on my phone. I look him up on my phone because I have several books with him in there. I wanted to say his first name is Dick, but I'm not entirely sure on that one. Nick Podell is obviously a favorite of mine. Yeah, I think it's easier to say. I have like 400 audiobooks in my Audible library.
Wow.
And such a huge variety of narrators. I'm constantly going, who's that narrator? Wow, that narrator is really good. And then I've never heard of this person before, but they're really good. It's probably easier to name the bad narrators than the good narrators.
That is true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, those are all the questions I have. So, Danny, again, thank you for doing this collaboration with me. I can't wait to put this video out. We finally got through it. It took a while, but we did it.
People do not know how long we have been working on this. So you're in Texas, I'm in Washington, different time zones. My job, I was on the night shift and sleeping when you were awake. And yeah, it took a bit for this to come together, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, but well worth it. Well worth it. At least I had a really good time. I always enjoy talking with you. Be it in the comments, be it here on FaceTime, or be it, in a video that we're about to send out to the world.